Hello everyone, it's Royce Rosewood, and today I'm going to show you the methods that I use to take cards from different sizes and put them into my patchwork deck so that everything works together. I usually keep a pile of Allyman's cards that I'm not using nearby as sort of a size reference. And this helps me kind of test when new cards come in. So for example, I just got this card in a swap, and I'm putting that in between and I'm feeling, hey, that fits pretty good and that'll fit right in. I don't need to do anything about that. And this one is a little short, but the width is okay. Because of the way I shuffle, it has never bothered me if cards are too short. So this one is okay. This one can just go right in. Now this one obviously is very large, so we are going to need to trim that down. So the first thing that I do when I'm going to trim down a card is I'm looking and it's like, okay, what do I want to save? What are the images and text that I want to save here? So I can kind of take this card and kind of cover up and try to imagine, okay, I should be able to get the words and I should be able to get her headdress in there. We will lose this kind of staff thing, but you're always going to lose something. Okay, but we'll try to trim it right down here so we can get as much as possible. So trimmer here, I just picked this up at a craft store. I like this one because it's nice and sized for this. You got to cut it down to size. Now I just have done this so many times that I know that the size of these is 4.75 inches by 2.75 inches. That's 8 centimeters by 13 centimeters. All right, I decided I'm going to cut it off really close down here. So, all right, great. So once that side's set, now I know I can measure up to my height right here and just trim right there. Okay. Now we want to center it. Right, because this text is centered and we don't want to throw that off. So we're going to measure it here. So it's 3.75 inches. So that means we need to take a full inch. That means we're going to take half of that from one side and half of that on the other side. Now this is an easy one, which means we're just going to take half an inch off both sides. Okay, sometimes you have to do a little bit of math. Taking half an inch here. Great. Flip it over. And now we can line this up to our length, which we know is 2.75. Great. Now I've got this. Now at this point, I like to test it again because, sometimes even with my measuring, there's a little bit extra, but I think I've done a pretty good job this time. Okay, so that's just fitting right in there. And now we want to do, now this is a corner rounder. I got this off of Amazon. I don't know how much it was. It was reasonable. And for how much I've used it, I mean, really, it just... I just use this all the time. There are 3 different settings here, but I just use the medium. All right. And there we go. And that is fitting in quite nicely. And that'll just shuffle in right nicely. And you might not even notice, but you might be asking, all right, that's all fine and good. I know how to cut, but what do you do about cards that you want in your deck that are too small? So these are more playing sized cards. Obviously, if you've got these in the deck, these are just going to be floating around, right? It's going to be hard to shuffle with this in there. Finally, I've got a method that I feel works pretty good. We're going to laminate the cards to give them more size, and then we'll trim that extra lamination down to our standard tarot card size. So let me get this warmed up. It takes a few minutes, and once it's warm, we'll come back and I'll show you that. All right, it's been a couple of minutes and now the green light is on, so I know that this thing is warmed up and ready to go. So this is just a standard lamination machine that I got off Amazon. I don't remember how much it was, but I haven't had any problems with it so far. Hopefully it keeps lasting. There's different thicknesses of lamination paper, 3mm and 5mm, and I tried the 5mm, and with the thickness of the cards, there was just a bubble effect that I didn't like. I mostly use the 3mm, but you can try out different things and see what you like. Now, normally I would do more in a batch, but this is just for demonstration. I can usually get about 4 on a sheet. So we want to leave space around. so that we have things to trim. All right, and that's in there. All right, and then we just slide this in here. All right, as you can see, we've got a little bit more warping and bubbling on this card. This card is thicker, so you're gonna get a little bit more warping here, but I'm not worried about that yet. So now we're gonna trim these down. Just got some regular scissors here. All right, so we've got our card in our lamination, and now we want it to be vaguely centered, right? I'm measuring this, and I see this is about 2.5 inches, and we're gonna go to 2 3/4 inches. So that means we need to add about 1/8 of an inch on each side. All right, same thing with the height. All right, this is about 3.5, and we're going to 475. That's a 1/2 inch plus 1/8. Okay. And then lining up on the other side. All right. Now I can test that out. All right. Yeah, that feels fine. All right, I'll go ahead and trim those. Then what I do is I run it through the lamination machine again, but I flip it over, and this kind of helps flatten out kind of that warping and those bubbles. All right. And then we get that, let that cool for a little bit. And there you go. You can take any card and put it into your patchwork deck. So as with anything, when you're doing a non-reversible method, try it out on a couple of cards that you don't care about first in case you get results that you don't like. But you know, it's all part of the grand experiment. If this was helpful, let me know. And if you have other methods for trimming or for expanding your cards to make them fit, please leave a comment. Thanks so much.